Hello,
Hi.
this is Jeremy.
Hello.
Can you guys see me?
No, only hear you.
Yeah, I'm having problems with my camera all of a sudden. This has never happened. That's why I'm late. I started the class, I couldn't get the camera to work, so I left and I rebooted my computer.
Okay.
Uh, this is very unusual.
I don't think.
Well, let's start talking a little bit, and I will continue to work on the camera.
But if you share with us a document, we don't need the camera. We can read the.
Yeah, we may have to just for this class, but I have to fix this camera eventually.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's Valerio, Haide, and is it Shafar?
Yes, Safa.
Okay, Shafar. All right. Where are you guys from?
I come from Italy,
Oh yeah, which part?
from the south, from Naples.
From Naples. Oh, okay. Naples, famous Naples.
Yes. Sometimes for bad things.
For bad things, like what?
Sometimes like mafia, like.
Ah, okay, like the mafia. I understand. What do you do for work, Valerio?
I work in the internet marketing in Italy.
Ah,
Yes.
that's an interesting. So you say internet marketing. You work for a specific company, or you work for various companies?
No, I work for politicians, actually.
Really? Wow. Very interesting. Okay. Shafar, are you a student or do you work in a certain field?
I'm a student. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm a freshman. Freshman.
Ah, okay. What where do you live?
I'm from Indonesia.
Indonesia. Okay. I was gonna guess that you're from that part of the world. I had a good growing up in California, I
Yeah.
had a good friend. He was half Indonesian.
Which country? Yeah, which city?
That I don't, he is actually from California. His mother was from Indonesia, and I actually don't remember.
Interesting. Maybe he's living in Bali, maybe because we have a tourist or from other country living in Bali.
Could be.
Yeah.
I don't think so because that's a long story. I'll tell you the guys later.
Yeah.
His mother married a German who was a soccer player. He was he played with a small German soccer club that used to tour the world, and he was playing against a team in Indonesia, and they met.
Awesome. Yeah.
Hello, Haide.
Hello,
How have you been?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good, good. So everyone survived the big storm from a few weeks ago, I guess, in your part of Japan.
Now typhoon is approaching
Another
again.
typhoon.
Yes, many typhoons.
Yeah. Is this the part of the year? Is this the time of the year when we have typhoons?
Actually, the summer season is we have a lot of typhoon.
Okay.
It's that season.
Gotcha. I guess it's kind of like the hurricane season in the United States. This is the time of year. Yeah.
And 2 or 3 days ago, typhoon was in Korea. But the high pressure system came to Japan, covered over Japan, so many places had flood. Then some places land is weak, but still new typhoon is coming.
Ah, wow, wow. Well, let me share with you guys this article, and we can read it together, especially since you can't see me or anything anyway. Let's get the Google Drive open here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to access that and put the document in there. So, do you like football? Do you like soccer?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot.
Okay. I guess that's why you came to this class, right? All right. Arranged by name.
How in Europe we imagine American they don't like soccer, so it's strange for me to see. You come from California, right?
Yes.
It's strange for me to see an American talking about soccer, not about baseball or basket or other American more traditional sport.
I understand. Okay, so I gave you guys access to an article. It's a soccer. It says the title is column Neymar, a victim of the World Cup show. Let me know when you're able to see it. Does everybody have the article?
No, I don't see the article on the sidebar.
No, it's not the sidebar. It's the
Okay.
it's in the Google Drive. You have to
Yes,
use your
yes,
Google
okay.
Drive app. It's a PDF.
Okay.
I already opened Google Drive, but I can't see anything.
Okay.
I see
Yeah.
we need an
So do I.
authorization.
I'm sorry?
It say we need an authorization to see the document.
Okay. Usually it tells me if there's more need for. Okay, yeah, here we go again. Let's try again. Usually it asks me 2 or 3 times to give permission. I don't know why. I keep saying yes, yes. And it's a PDF, so you can open it with
Okay.
a PDF viewer or whatever you want with your
Okay.
browser, maybe.
I can see it.
Okay, Shafar, can you see it?
No, I can see it. I cannot.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
Okay. Hold on one second then. What I'm gonna do is give you a link to the website so you can just click on the link and open it in a separate window if you want to. Hold on one second.
okay.
Okay, I can see it.
Now I can see it, but it's still loading.
Still waiting? Still loading? Okay.
Still loading. Yeah.
I'll just wait for one more second. Maybe it's going to open for you. Sometimes it takes a little time to show up. If you can get it that way, it's better, and I'll tell you why in a second. It's better. Well, I'll tell you now. The reason why it's better if you can open the PDF that I sent you is because I have already highlighted some expressions. I've highlighted some words and some phrases in yellow, some vocabulary terms that we're going to make reference, because besides reading about soccer, we're also going to work on expanding our vocabulary in English. Just let me know, Shafar, if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, good. Okay, let's read some of the article, and I'll stop you at certain points, and we'll discuss it.
Can you make it bigger?
I'm sorry, Heide?
Can you make it bigger?
Well, you have the document on your screen. I'm not sharing screen with you, remember? So you can.
Yeah, I got, but I clicked making bigger, but okay, I can do that.
Yeah, you can download the document to your computer if you want, and then you can open it with Adobe Reader, and you can make it as big as you want.
Okay.
I think that's probably one of the easiest things to do is go ahead and keep the document. I give it to you as a gift. All right. So I will read the first paragraph, and then we will do Valerio the second paragraph, Shefar the third, Haide the fourth, and so on. We'll go in a circle. Okay? So this comes from Rio de Janeiro. It says, I kept getting tripped up and kicked to pieces, said Brazil superstar player, and the referee did nothing to protect me or my teammates from these roughhouse tactics.
Okay. Neymar describing how he was battered at his World Cup and is now out after a Colombian opponent fractured his back.
Shafar?
Now This was pale, Herculean opponents, which Vicious falls that hobbled him at the 1966 tournament, part of what prompted later rescinded vow from the King of Football never to play in the World Cup again.
In short, the warning sign that Neymar was going to be targeted, that rival players without his genius would use force to stop him because they don't have his skills, or because decade old. They were they were there for all to see in Brazil except clearly for referees and FIFA officials who are as guilty as the Colombian defender Juan Camilo Zuniga for Neymar's ruined World Cup. They did too little to protect the 22-year-old from football's brightest, the clinical masters of the dark art of kicking rivals black, blue, and out.
And now it's too late. Time will mend Neymar's fractured third vertebra, but it will never be able to give back the one chance he had to win the World Cup on home soil. He will have retired whenever Football Showcase tournament next visits these shores. That wound can never be healed.
Zuniga's post-match explanation, "I didn't mean to hurt him," was as worthless as printed currency in the days of hyperinflation. Zuniga may not have intended to break a bone, but any time anyone takes a running jump at the small of someone's back with their knee raised like a battering ram, physical damage is likely, predictable, and so also avoidable. Shafar.
At best, Zuniga was reckless. We would call police and personal injuries lawyers if someone charged us like this on the street, sending us to hospital. In football, Zuniga's lack of care towards another human being didn't even earn him a conscience.
Okay. Heide?
Lost. Where?
FIFA and the Brazilian government.
FIFA and the Brazilian government needed so badly for the football to be brilliant at this World Cup. And it had been partly because FIFA referees are being lenient with force and not handing out as many cautions and red cards as they should and letting play run on. That is what Spanish referee Carlos Velasco Carvalho did when Zuniga ended Neymar's World Cup, leaving him falls down in agony on the pitch.
But what Carvalho didn't do is as much of a concern. He blew for 54 fouls, but handed out just 4 yellow cards, 2 to Brazilians and 2 to Colombians. In short, he saw ugly play all around him, but it didn't do enough to stop it.
That is being repeated across this World Cup. There was no occasion for Belgian players who hacked in succession at Lionel Messi's legs as he made a first-half run for goal in Saturday's quarter-final. The slow motion was hypnotic, revolting, showing boats aiming not for the ball but for the calves, shins and ankles of the 4-time World Player of the Year.
Shafar?
The headsmen are so good, trained even at hiding their destructive intent. They left seemingly innocent legs trailing like tripwire. When they could land on the grass, they instead came down on opponents' ankles and feet. Fragile bones vulnerable in today's ultra-late source.
The tag team are taking turns to fall particularly gifted players to lessen the risks of the referee's card for repeat offending. They pretend to look elsewhere when they thunder into a collision. When he flattened Neymar, Ziniga was looking up at the ball he was never gonna get because it was falling for the Brazilian in his path.
And don't fall for the myth that Brazil players are above such cynicism. They targeted Neymar's opposite number for Colombia, James Rodriguez. Watching two 22-year-olds being bullied was not pleasant.
FIFA statistics counted 35 tackles on Neymar at first World Cup. Just one player so far got more. Chile's Alexis Sanchez with 36. FIFA's tallies also show Neymar was one of the most fouled players. That is to be expected given that he runs at opponents and as an attacker is at the heart of the fray.
But unexpected and alarming is why referees are being more lenient than they have been for decades. According to FIFA, they have shown an average of fewer than 3 yellow cards per game, a rate lower than any World Cup since Mexico in 1986.
The bar for yellow cards has been set much too high. Retired Swiss referee Urs Meier, who officiated at the 1998 and 2002 World Cups, wrote Saturday for the website of German Weekly Focus.
An awful lot is being tolerated, he added. No one should be surprised that people are injured.
But with FIFA's referees curbing their interventions, games have been hand-to-hand and goals have reigned in. FIFA President Sepp Blatter and Brazilian President Dilma Rousseff, both ailing re-election, are delivering World Cup bread and circus. The pulsating football has for now largely pushed aside bothersome questions about spending billions on stadiums and suspected corruption.
Even without Neymar, the show must go on.
Okay, here we go. All right, so let's talk about this. First of all, before we discuss some details, does anyone have any initial comments? Your thoughts? Do you agree with some of what he's saying? Do you disagree?
I didn't know this aspect of the FIFA that they raised the tolerance about injuries on football.
Mm-hmm.
So it's new to me. I didn't know this.
Okay. In Italy, what was the perception of how the refereeing was done this year? What was the common? Was anyone talking about the refereeing?
Not very much, because
Okay.
Italy has been eliminated very soon.
Yeah, sorry. That's true. I guess when the team doesn't play very well, you don't have much interest. Huh?
So we forgot the how do you say, the World Cup very very quickly.
Very quickly.
We don't-
Okay. All right. Yeah, I heard somewhere on the news that FIFA specifically told the referees not to issue yellow and red cards quickly. They wanted to have play continue a lot. So it's
Yes.
Mhm.
Now, if I see now you're telling me this, if I think back to match I saw during the World Cup, yes, I agree, because I saw a lot of injuries, a lot of how do you say, when not injuries, a lot of behaviors on the boot camp,
Hmm.
on the boot camp, and referees very few times. I don't know how to say. Showed the yellow card.
Yes. Okay.
It's true.
Yeah. So let's go back to the beginning of the article and see if we understand. This is an interesting introduction that he uses. This is the way the journalist who writes this article, he uses a strategy where well, in the very first paragraph, he is quoting someone, right? The paragraph that I think I read the first paragraph of the whole article. Who is he quoting?
Neymar, maybe. Neymar.
Are you sure?
Brazil superstar player. Yes, Neymar.
The first paragraph.
Look carefully at the first three paragraphs together.
Pelé.
Pele. Oh, maybe it's captain. He's captain.
Do you know who Pele was?
The defender.
No, Pele is the most famous Brazilian soccer player from the 1960s.
Yeah.
Yeah, before he was in Japan. He was director of some team, Japanese professional soccer team.
Pele is widely considered one of the best soccer players of all time.
So Japanese soccer team invited him.
The second in the world after Maradona.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, in other words, the journalist is writing about a current problem, and when he starts talking about, when he quotes this, "I kept getting tripped up and kicked to pieces," naturally your mind assumes this is going to be Neymar, but in reality he's quoting from 1966, almost 40 years ago. 50 years ago. Wow. Why do you think he used this as an introduction? Anybody? Why do you think he quoted Pele?
Mm-hmm.
The fourth
paragraph.
The fourth paragraph tells you why he is quoting from Pele 50 years later.
Because he quote his sentence. He quote his declaration. I kept getting tripped up and kicked to pieces. It's a Pele sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Not a Neymar sentence.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So if you look at the fourth paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe Haide, can you read the first sentence of that fourth paragraph again for us?
No, this was pair. Recording now.
The next paragraph.
Next.
In short?
In short, the warning sign that Neymar was gonna be targeted, that rival players without genius would use force to stop him because they don't have his skills. Oh, they don't have his skills, so they envied, no?
Yes, they envied him. Hello.
Okay.
Good for you, teacher.
Yeah, I fixed it. I've been working on it. Sorry if I've been distracted. I've been trying to fix this. Okay, so yeah. In other words, the journalist here is saying, look, the warning signs for this type of behavior have been around for many years, but FIFA evidently is not interested in stopping it. Is what he is trying to say. What do you think in the very first paragraph? What does the word rough house mean? Rough house tactics. Anybody?
Rough play,
Mm-hmm.
to hit and kick like that.
Yes.
Aggressive tactics.
Yep. Correct.
Instead of fair play.
Yes. Okay. Good. In the second paragraph, it uses the word Battered. Any idea what the word batter means? Batter means to be beat up. A woman that has been abused by her husband or by her boyfriend, and I'll put this in the Verbling chat. Here we have in America we have shelters for battered women. In other words, it's a safe house, right, where they can leave and go to get help. The word battered means to be beat up repeatedly.
Okay.
Batter. It actually comes from the in the medieval times when they had castles. Do you remember how they would try to break through a castle wall? Do you remember what they used?
No.
In England or Germany, when they were an army was trying to invade a castle, they would get a big giant log, and they would maybe put something made of stone or metal on the end, and all the men would ram it into the wall over and over again, ram it into the gates. Boom, like maybe you've seen these movies.
Okay. Yeah. Against the door.
Against the door.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually called a battering ram.
Battering ram.
Because the word batter means to bash, hit, bam, bam. So you have a battering ram. That's how I remember the word. Okay. In the third paragraph, there's another word. I'm going to introduce you guys to a few verbs, and then we're going to talk about the pronunciation. In the third paragraph, it says that Pele was recalling. By the way, the word recalling, everyone clear? What's the word? What does it mean to recall something?
Remember.
Yeah, remember. Okay. And it says that he was recalling opponents' vicious fouls that hobbled him.
Hobble.
The verb is hobble. Anyone know what that means?
Hobble.
When you walk.
Walk. Walk. And what's it? Weak. Very weak.
First, hobble.
Yeah. Hobble can mean to walk around injured. It can mean to leave someone in an injured state. To hobble someone, to injure them so that they're walking around like an old man. I want to point something out about the. You're going to see a lot of past tense verbs in this article because it's all written past tense, right? So let me type a series of verbs, and we'll talk about the right way to pronounce past tense. It's actually a little bit tricky in English, the pronunciation of past tense. And it says that in that same paragraph, it says these fouls were part of what prompted a later rescinded vow from the King of Football never to play in the World Cup again. I highlighted the word rescinded. Anyone know what that word means?
Withdraw.
Say again?
Withdraw.
Withdraw. Yes. In other words, he changed his mind. He promised, I will never play in the World Cup again, and then later on, he took it back. He said, okay, I changed my mind. I will. He got over it. All right, so let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3. I'm looking for another verb. Okay. Here's another one. Out. Okay. Oh, yeah. There's one more. Sorry, I missed one. We have
Root.
Yeah, we have tripped.
Tripped.
Tripped and kicked. Okay, that's enough. So are you guys using the Verbling chat? Yes?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Triple kicked.
Yeah.
All right, so I have 6 different verbs that all are past tense. They all use ed. In that sense, none of them are irregular verbs like go and went. But I want to focus a little bit on the proper pronunciation of how do we pronounce the ed ending.
Okay.
So let's start off with the word foul, right? To foul someone. When we add ed on the end, how do we pronounce that word, Shafar?
Fault.
Yes, fouled. So notice all we do is we add a d sound to it, but we do not add a syllable. It's not fouled. It's just fouled. So here's the first rule. There's three ways to pronounce ed. The first rule is when the word ends with a voice box sound. That's just basically what we call it as it is voiced. In other words, we're using just the voice box, but it's not a sharp sound like ol or m or in. We add just a d sound. So we have foul, right? You can feel it in your voice box. Foul, fouled. We just add a d. Boom, done. Same thing with this word. Let me give you another one. Okay. I'm trying to give you an easy one. How about okay. To warm up, right? So I'm going to warm up some food on the stove. So how do I make the word warm past tense, Valerio?
Warmed.
Warmed. Yeah.
Warmed up. Warmed up.
Yeah, warmed up. So just the word warm is very simple. Warmed. We add a D sound. Okay? Now, if I go back to my example before, here's a sentence I think that came from the article. Let me put it correctly here. Hold on. I kept everything. Okay, this is what Pele said, right? So here's. Hey, maybe you can read me that sentence and then tell me what is the sound that we get at the end of the 2 verbs there. Hello?
It's me?
Hi there.
I did, okay.
Kicked.
And the other one?
I kept getting tripped up and kicked to pieces.
Good. So instead of a D sound, what's the actual sound that we're getting at the end of the verb trip and kick when we add the ED?
T.
Yeah, it's a T sound. You guys see that? Or you guys hear that? It's not the same sound. Tripped, kicked. So again, we're not adding another syllable. It's still one syllable. The word tripped is one syllable. It's not tripped. It's not kicked. It's tripped and kicked. So here's the rule. The rule is when the final consonant in the verb is a sharp sound, like trip, right? It's a P sound. We make it with our lips. Trip. So tripped. What happens is English requires us to put a T sound for the ending because the last thing we did with our lips was what they call a non-voice sound. It was a sound manufactured by the mouth. Anyway, it's natural. In other words, if the sound is very sharp, if it's p or k, then we end up putting a T for our past tense. Tripped, kicked. Here's another one. So here's present tense, right? Maybe Shafar, can you read the sentence I just typed, and then can you make an alternate sentence for yesterday?
Okay, I'm going to watch TV. Yesterday I watched TV.
Yes, good. So the good pronunciation. That's correct. Watched. Because the last sound is a ch, right? It just air. Ch. We end up putting a T sound. Watched.
Watched.
Yep, correct. Does anyone know what the third? Haide, do you know what the third rule is for ed endings?
Yeah, wanted or ed, wanted, ed.
Yes.
Needed,
So,
needed. E and D.
That's it.
That letter was T and D. In that case, it needed. Wanted.
Okay, so notice what Haide mentioned is absolutely correct. Thank you, Haide. If the verb ends in a D or a T, this is a very simple rule, only those two letters. If it ends in a T or a D, those are the sounds that we already used to make the past tense, so we must repeat the sound. To distinguish it from need, we need to add on needed. So we add, it now has two syllables.
Okay.
Or, I want a new bike. He wanted a new bike. Because the two sounds that we normally use to make past tense are already being used in these verbs, we need to repeat the sound in order to create the distinction. Otherwise, you couldn't hear the difference between present and past. So this is a very simple rule. Anytime the verb ends in a D or a T, you must actually add another syllable and put the ed on the end. Needed, wanted. That's when you get the ed. So, but be aware of this. Most verbs in English do not end in a D or a T because it's only two letters out of a possible, I don't know how many consonants we have, 20-something consonants, 20, 21. So probably 90-something% of all your verbs in English fall into the other two categories, watched or warmed. Now, if we go back to our article, take a look at the second paragraph again, the very beginning, where it talks about Neymar. Or actually, it's asking a question. Is this Neymar describing how he was? What's the correct pronunciation of this verb? It starts with a B. Anyone?
Brute?
I'm back to the top of the article, the second small little paragraph. Neymar describing how he was
battered.
Yes, battered. There it is, right? That's just the simple D sound, battered, because R is not a sharp sound, so we just go from batter, to battered. What about the third paragraph there, Shafar, where it talks about, no, this was Pele?
Hobbled? Hobbled?
Yes, hobbled. Just a D sound. Because the final sound that you hear is an L. Hobble.
Hobble.
Yeah.
Hobble.
So hobbled. And then, Haide, what about the verb rescind? What happens to rescind in the past?
Rescinded.
Yes. So rescinded falls into our third category, guys. Rescinded. It actually gets an extra syllable because the D repeats. So that's it. That's the whole. Those are the rules on ed endings. I know it's sometimes it gets tricky, but what happens is after a while you'll get used to just noticing the pattern. Yeah. Anyway, so just be aware of that when you're reading out loud. Try to pay attention to the right ending for the past tense. A lot of times when I'm teaching students, then they're reading out loud, they'll say things like, "I watched," or they'll try to pronounce all of the ed endings as a separate syllable, and then it sounds funny. So it's something to get used to. Okay, let's go back to the discussion here. On the first paragraph, or I'm sorry, first page, a little bit further down towards the bottom of the first page, it's talking about Zuniga, the man who ended up injuring Neymar. And it says, the third paragraph from the bottom, it uses an adjective. It says, at best, Zuniga was reckless. What is the meaning of the word reckless? Paragraph number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Paragraph 7, if that helps you.
Okay.
Not considered some action.
Okay. That's part of it. Reckless also has the idea of out of control. So, for instance, or someone who's not thinking about the consequences. Can you guys think of something that people do today besides soccer that maybe we would describe this person as reckless?
Maybe he drank too much. He reckless to go home.
Say again?
Some people drank too much and being reckless.
Okay. Yeah. In fact, since you mentioned that idea of drinking too much, some people drink too much and then they get in the car.
Can I say drive recklessly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you make a sentence for me, Valerio? That's a very good idea.
After drinking a lot, I was driving recklessly.
Yes. Yes. In fact, in this country, we have an official term called reckless driving. You can get an infraction or a ticket from the police. They can pull you over even if you're not speeding. Even if you don't do any infractions. Maybe you did not pass through a red light. You were not exceeding the speed limit, but they can give you a ticket for reckless driving if they observe what appears to be aggressive driving, or you're moving all over the road, or you seem to be endangering other people. They can give you a ticket for reckless driving, and it's their discretion. There you go. Okay, let me go back to the article here. We'll pick out another word for you. Okay, the last paragraph at the bottom of, I'm sorry, second to the last paragraph on the first page, I highlighted the word lenient. It says FIFA referees are being lenient with fouls. Hi there, what's the meaning of lenient?
Generous.
Okay. In what sense? Can you maybe can you give me another sentence using lenient?
The police was lenient. He ignored the person violated the rule.
Okay. All right. Good. What do you think, Shefar? Can you give me another sentence using the word lenient?
Okay, absolutely. The referee just being lenient after don't care about Neymar injury.
Okay. Yeah.
And teacher, is lenient, we could say unresponsible?
It's more of lenient means very relaxed and not strict. The opposite of lenient is very strict. Lenient is often used when it comes to rules or punishment. If you do not enforce the rules, if you tell someone, hey, you can't do that, but then, well, okay, I'll let you do it anyway. So a lot of times in English we use lenient for parents when they tell their child you have to stop, but then, okay, that's fine, go ahead. He's being too lenient. Yeah, that's the basic idea. All right, so these are some words if you want to add them. I don't know if you guys keep a list of new vocabulary words, but I know some people do. They add some vocabulary words to flashcard system or whatever. Sometimes I learn new words in Spanish and I add them to my flashcard system, so you can practice them. Page 2. Okay, so now we are talking about Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi. And what did it say? The writer of this article was very upset when he watched the video of Belgium versus Argentina. What did he say he saw?
He saw Belgian football player were giving the same treatment as Colombia gave to Neymar. They did so to Messi.
Mm-hmm. Good. When he was looking at the slow motion video afterwards, what adjectives does he use to describe what he saw? Anybody can help.
He saw hypnotic. He saw football player not pointing at the ball but pointing at the calves. I don't know what. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's a good pronunciation. Calves. Mm-hmm.
Calves. Pointing at calves.
So
shins and ankles.
Yeah. So ankles, I assume you guys know what an ankle is, right? There's the foot, right? Calves is the muscle in the back of the leg.
Okay.
The small muscle above the ankle in the back. That's the calf. And the shin is the bone in the front where you put the shin protector.
Yes.
So what do you think the word hypnotic means?
When you are not able to detach eyes from the desktop from the screen.
Yeah, very good. Like hypnotize, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they take the watch. Yeah, and also there's another good word here. Let me type this down. Hypnotic. Hypnotic comes from hypnosis. What about the word revolting? It's a little more difficult.
I think in this case, revolting means some giving a bad emotion, something. I think it's related to flew out.
Flew out.
Vomit, to throw up.
Oh, to throw up.
Vomit.
Okay.
I think it's related to the stomach. I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're on the right case. Yes, actually, you're right. You're right. Because sometimes people get fooled by this word because it has two meanings. The verb revolt. Usually, when we use the verb revolt, we think of people rebelling, like the people in Syria revolted against the government, right? And now they're fighting a civil war. They rebelled. However, the second meaning of revolt is to feel disgusted, or to feel sick to your stomach. So if something is revolting, something makes me sick.
Okay.
Yeah, you're correct. Very good, Valerio. Yeah. Okay. Before we finish, let me show you guys something funny, just since we're about out of time here. If I can do it very quickly. I have a small video on flopping in soccer. I know we were discussing fouls and flopping. We never got to the flopping. What is flopping, by the way? Anyone know?
Mm, no,
Anybody know what flopping means?
no.
No? Flopping for Americans is when someone touches you like this and you fall down. Ah,
Okay.
to flop, to dive.
To pretend.
Yes. Do you think this is a big problem in soccer?
Yes, Italian football player do this many times. They are very famous for this.
Yeah, I think so too. I should have showed this to you earlier.
There are some teams, some soccer teams specialized in flopping, I think.
Yeah, some people say that's one of the reasons why Neymar doesn't get enough protection because he flops too much, which is possible. You guys have your YouTube app open? Can you click on the YouTube app?
Yes.
Haide?
Yeah.
Shafar? Okay. I'm going to show you this real quick because we're almost out of time. It's only 2 minutes long. Just something to end the class with. It's kind of funny. These are some of the most famous flops from recent history. Here we go. Everybody ready?
Yes.
There you go. What do you think?
Very funny.
That last one is my favorite. I don't know if you realize what happened in the last foul. Do you see what the small guy did? Oh, what happened? What happened? What happened? It started again. Let's get rid of that. Stop. 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 Anyway, in the last foul, the guy who was behind the man who was looking for the ball, he grabbed the other guy's hand and he pushed it into his own face. That's probably the most creative foul I've seen in a while. So there you go. So maybe another day we'll debate flopping and what to do about it. Okay, guys. Thank you for sharing the class. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned some things about verbs and adjectives. I have to close this one down and start my next class.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Nice meeting you all.
Yeah, bye bye.
See you soon. Bye bye.